today on June 4th, we are sweeping up the summer, RuneScape style. Matter of fact, old school style. And I'm talking about with the old broom and the hand dustpan that you got to bend down and sweep it up with. Old school. If I didn't say hello to you, my bad, boys. HM gifted for you to read a massive blog instead of doing something fun. No monkey won't go live, so I need my opinion form for me. Hell yeah. Guys, Mr. Goblin is here to read the summer sweep up with us. I'm sure No Monkey will have coverage of this later. But if you want a half-baked opinion of a bald man, you are in the right place. Welcome to the summer sweep up read through. Bald style. Everyone in the office is starting to complain about the heat, which can only mean one thing. It's time for a sweep up. For the uninitiated, the sweep up is a collection of changes aimed at improving quality of life, addressing long-standing pain points, and often introducing through topics and rebalances. Okay, I like this. Primary goal of this is to modernize RuneScape and future-proof various parts of the game to ensure they remain healthy long-term. Good. The sweep up spawned following the success of a project rebalance, which saw the introduction of elemental weakness alongside gear, defensive stat, and skill rebalancing, all things that we built on for 2025. The sweep up alongside improvements to content like Tombs of a Mascot, Abyssal Sire, and adjustments to loot tables of various resources. Okay. This year we're back with a whole host more of tweaks alongside a handful of topics we'd like to gauge your thoughts on before committing to a specific dungeon or direction. I don't know why I read dungeon. We'll waste no more time and kick things off with the changes we're certain to make at least a handful of you say, oh, that's a good change. Okay. I like it. I like the intro. Off to a good start. Hunter improvements. Hunter is technically old school's second most recent skill behind sailing, being added in November of 2006. Damn. It's been 20 years since they added Hunter. That is kind of crazy to think about. Despite that, the skill has a fair share of jank and clunky interactions that make it a bit of a slog to train conventionally, particularly at earlier levels. It is true that the addition of Hunter rumors with Volumor's Hunter Guild improved the value proposition of conventional Hunter training outside of Tinchampas. But for many training methods, there are still changes that could be made to drastically improve the feel of them. Okay? While we keep things concise with bullet points, we aim to expand where needed so that we're all on the same page. All right? The aims and all the key changes we're planning to make. Got it. So falconry. This is perhaps the most traditional hunter method for players midway through the progression, but players engaging in falconry might wonder why Matthias Falcon seemingly lacks all of the speed and grace that these birds of prey are known for. Fortunately, all the GP that Matthias has taken from you has been put towards some birdsonal development, or birdsonal development. I don't know what that word means. Meaning you can look forward to the following. You will no longer be held in place while the falcon is chasing a kebbit. Meaning you can reposition or walk around while the falcon chases its prey. Nice. You'll be able to ask your falcon to catch a kebbit even if your inventory is full. Excess resources will be discarded to avoid cluttering the floor, and we'll make an exception for Hunter Rumor here. I like that. That's a good cleanup. Or sweep up, should I say. Aerial fishing. Despite its lack of popularity, aerial fishing is a reasonably efficient use of time for the min-maxers among you. Okay? So this is a high XP per hour activity. Okay, so they're going to increase the distance at which you're able to perform quick catches from a 3x3 to a 4x4 area. And this means you're more likely to chain together back-to-back catches every tick if you play at this level of intensity. Nice. All right, so this XP is going to go up if you are an efficient aerial fisherman. An efficient fisherman. Can I combine those words and be punny? No, that's a waste of time. Add a toggle to the Ulri the angler that allows your cormorant to eat fish in your inventory. Okay. Are there any aerial fishermen in the chat that are like, this is dope? Okay, this means you'd have forego the cooking XP you could otherwise obtain, but does make the activity considerably less click intensive. Okay, so this is an option for you that to skip the cooking XP, but be a little bit more AFK. Occasionally, a larger pool will spawn, and you can send your cormorant to several times in a row. A larger pool will spawn that you can send your cormorant to several times in a row, which adds a little downtime or periods of lower intensity to break up the rapid pace. Okay, this will increase the chance of you obtaining mulch pearls by 50%, lower the mulch pearl cost of some rewards. Any of you with prior purchases here would be refunded any lost pearls. Okay, this is good for anglers. Outfit is now cheaper. Guys, this is the biggest thing right here. A lot of people complain to me how long it takes to get the angler's outfit. This is good. It's a great change. Fishing sack down to 500. Any fish sackers? Okay, deadfall traps. They are associated with the earliest levels of hunter. Which they have been more or less superseded by birdhouses. No pun intended with the seeded there. With mechanical monkeys being a notable exception for their relatively low intensity, we've got a handful of changes that should breathe new life. I mean, for the most part, guys, I did hunter. What are they called? For my first levels of hunter, I did birdhouses up to like level 50 or 60 or something. I didn't even remember. I don't think I ever even really did hunter rumors until I was like 60 something. So this will be a good alternative for lower levels and stuff like that. Increase deadfall trap limit to 2. This is great. Yeah, 1 deadfall trap was kind of you kind of just standing around most of the time. Maniacal monkeys will retain the 1 tap limit. Kruk would never double tap, so you'd blow your cover. Okay, cool. We don't believe maniacal monkeys need extra help, and they already occupy a healthy space. I've never done the maniacal monkeys, so I don't have any opinions on that one. Give deadfall traps a chance to preserve your log when placing a trap, so you can cut down on cutting down trees. Make deadfall traps able to catch 8 ticks after being placed, as opposed to the current 15 ticks. Cool. That's half the speed and double the traps. Wild kebbit catch rate increased by 2.5 times. Wow. Wait, this is great. Like low-level hunter is going to be much faster than just doing the standard birdhouse route. I mean, active XP should be better than passive XP, I guess. So this makes sense to me. All right, so low-level hunter is going to be all different now. Allow 2 traps to be placed starting at level 1 hunter rather than level 20. This effectively doubles XP rates for catching birds early on. Okay, nice. Even starting at level 1, you're going to be able to do double birds now. Drop rate from 1 in 75 to 1 in 40. Improve the drop rate for pity rate for butterfly and moth hunter rumors. Okay, nice. These stand out as pretty non-interactive, and they feel like they have much higher variance than other rumors, so we like to improve the consistency a tad. Okay, so you're gonna finish your hunter tasks a bit quicker now. Like you have a higher chance of catching like that one moth or 1 bird that you need to catch to turn in your rumor, which is great. Grant 30 hunter XP for killing a chompy bird. It's a token amount, but it feels like it makes sense. Nice. Okay, agility changes, guys. Lock in. Lock in on agility changes right here. I see Sepulcher in the background. Floor 4 entry down to level 77. Let's go. Guys, this is big. This is big. Floor 4. Can I get into floor 4 yet? I still can't. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, shit. All right. You know what? 77 is good. That's fine. Don't worry about it, Jagex. I see you guys are not making the game around me, but that's fine. Okay, floor 5 entry requirement down to level 87 from 92. That's good. I like that. We can get in there floor 5 a bit quicker. Allow players to boost. Wait. Players can boost. Meaning a player at 72 could eat a summer pie at the end of floor 3 to gain entry to floor 4. We're in, baby. Guys, we're in. We're in like a hot girl at a nightclub. Let's freaking go. Adjust floor 5's grand coffin so that it requires 84 thieving or 92 agility to open. Let's freaking go. Ultimately, the aim here is to reduce the time spent running the comfortable floors. 72 to 82 agility stands out for many as a bit of a slog. Yeah, you're telling me. I've been slogging it for 10 months at 70 something. Since floor 3 gets to be quite mundane after a little while, these changes are aimed at getting players moving through the floors quickly and putting themselves to test against more challenging obstacles. Let's go. That's awesome, guys. We can actually do floor 4 now. On the other end of the intensity spectrum is the Colossal Worm Agility course nestled into Varlamore's Sunset Coast, which was initially billed as more low-intensity alternative rooftops for XP output, but is more or less the same effort and sees little use beyond players after getting their Varlamore graceful recolor. Increase the duration of Colossal Worm Agility course by 25 to 30%. Increase XP and termites to match, so it's the same XP per hour as termites. Okay, sick. Okay, good. They changed the Colossal Worm Agility course. So I had to do this one day to farm a stamina potion so I could solo Cox. So a slight increase to that is great. Shortcuts. Okay, so they've actually reworked. We will not waste any time. Here's a list of brand new short. Okay, they're adding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Guys, 6 or 7 more shortcuts have been added into the game. West of Draenor Manor, small gap in the fence. Southwest Giants Plateau. Southern edge of Edgeville Dungeon, central area of the top floor of the Archis Library. North of Sophonim. Small island north of Mostly Harmless. West of Polonevich. Okay. New shortcuts are all well and good, but we'd like to take a look at some of the most frustrating ones. Grapple shortcuts. There's no shortage of shortcuts in the game that you'll look at and think, my character's done way tougher than this. So we'd like to allow some grapple crossbow shortcuts to be over-leveled and able to be completed without any gear at all. The shortcuts we're looking at here. Okay. So we'd like to rework. Does this mean they're getting rid? Oh, barehanded. Oh, guys. You know all these shortcuts you need grapples for? If you are way over-leveled on Agi, you're going to be able to do it without a grapple now. Because the wise man once said, ain't nobody got time for that. You know what I mean? Like, come on now. Who got time to go get a grapple out of their bank? Nobody. That's what I'm talking about, Jagex. There we go. Traversing Gielinor gets better with every sweep up. Here's hoping that more variety in Agility's pinnacle training method coupled with more use cases. Okay, this is cool. This is a cool change. If you're way over leveled for the Agi, you can just skip the grapple. There's more on the table for a variety of skilling activities or quick... Oh, Guardians of the Rift. Wait. Hold on now. Guardians of the Rift changes. Temperos and Core. Okay, I'm looking ahead. Allow players to purchase the Abyssal Needle for 750 pearls. Meaning there's a deterministic option for players going dry. Nice. This is great. Allow the Abyssal Lantern to function outside of GOTR if it's burning logs that provide some effect beyond the activity. Huh. The Abyssal Lantern to function outside of GOTR. I don't think I have this. This is massive. You guys are saying this is massive. I can't weigh in on this. I don't think I have the Abyssal Lantern. No more rune pouch degradation. Okay. With redwood logs, your pouch will never degrade. That's 20% more blood runes. Okay. Awesome. That's a big boost. You can do it outside. So like when you're doing your true blood runs, your pouch won't degrade anymore. And you get 20% more blood runes with it. Big quality of life right there. Allow the Guardian's Eye to unlock a permanent metamorphosis on the Rift Guardian rather than taking up space in your bank for whenever you want to switch up your companion's appearance. Okay? Pet hunters, right there. A similar vein to the above. Okay, in a similar vein to the above, we've... Another rewards related adjustment here. Allow players to purchase the fish barrel and tackle box. Wow. You can buy the fish barrel now. Whoa. Unbelievable. 6,000 spirit flakes. So if you're going to, that's like literally they added dry protection for a couple of things now. They added dry protection for the needle and the fish barrel and the tackle box, guys. So you will not be going dry on fish barrel ever again here. Introduced alongside sailing, coral farming currently occupies a really strong position for irons and UIMs when it comes to herb lore efficient HP. EHP is a term... Okay, Asman. EHP is a term you'll see used by the high-level community that means efficient hours played, which means you could gain a maximum of 100 K XP an hour from training a skill, then 50K would equivalent to 0.5 efficient hours played. Ordinarily, this sort of thing is something we'd let happen organically and shift over time, but in Coral's case, there's a risk that associated methods becoming more widespread could shift herb lore progression for all irons over to mass farming Coral rather than the healthy spread of herbs you'd currently invest. Okay, so basically they're saying Coral farming is becoming meta because it's too fast. And they don't want to invalidate the other methods. It's important to note that this is currently only significant at the very top end. So players with 99 farming, ADAS seeds, magic secators in hand are enjoying disproportionately high gains. We'd like to enact some changes that increase the amount of coral gained at lower farming levels and without. Okay, so if you're fully boosted on yield, you're getting too much coral and it's too much experience per hour. So they're nerfing it a bit. They're nerfing coral for the max yielders, and maybe bringing it up for people that are not fully yielded, yield boosted. Okay, got it. So Umbral Pillar and Elkhorn. Here's the new rates for that. If you are a coral farmer, looks like they're just raising the low end and bringing down the top end a little bit. Where's this link at, Sard? I can link it for you, bro. Here in the chat. By the way, Bob and Freelance, thank you guys for the gifted subs. Sorry I missed those ones. You guys are legends. I appreciate this support on the stream, man. Okay, PVM. Corrupted Gauntlet changes, guys. I predicted that they were going to make changes to make prep faster. Let's see what they do here. We don't have a huge number of NPCs or context-specific changes here, but similar to our Tombs of Amasket changes in last year's sweep-up, we're targeting one piece of content in particular to take a real pass over. Guys, when I was at Jagex, I told them that CG stole all of my friends and made them quit. And they listened. And maybe this will bring our friends back. Our focus this year is a fan favorite. You know it. You'd probably have a complicated relationship with it. It's the Red Prison, the Gauntlet. Bring back Savix, bring back Showback. This one's already generated a lot of conversation. Hopefully seeing what's actually on the table might calm things down a little. We'll start in the section that's saying our aims aren't to drastically speed up the enhanced crystal weapon seed grind, and instead center on reducing variance and smoothing out the prep phase so you can turn your brain off before locking in for your fight. Let's go. Changes aimed at reducing... Why am I so excited? I've already finished this grind. Guarantee a random demi-boss spawn at northeast southwest rooms. Oh! Let's go. Guaranteed demi-boss spawn. Okay. While we're talking demi bosses, we'd also like to reduce their maximum attack range from 16 to 10, meaning you're less likely to get jump scared by an off screen. Okay, this is good because like sometimes when you're running between rooms, you have to flick before you go through the open pass. You might still have to do that if they're really close though. A guaranteed weapon drop frame from your first low tier NPC kill. Nice. That's good. Stackable. Guys, that's a 3 clapper right there. Stackable resources. That's a triple clapper. Automatically place crystal shards in your inventory rather than... yes. Guys, auto loot. Auto loot in CG. Let's go. What? Guys, that is the best feature of World of Warcraft. Auto loot. Reduce variance of the number of crystal shards dropped by enemies. Meaning the number of enemies you need to kill should feel more consistent between runs. Okay. Reducing the variant number of crystal shards. Okay, so it's going to drop more consistent number of them. Because sometimes you get like 10 and sometimes you get like 80. Just depending on the medium mobs. The medium mobs have a high variance. Standardize the stats of regular, meaning not demi bosses, enemies within tiers, so that it's not better to kill a wolf over a scorpion. Oh, okay, cool. So all the scorpions and wolves are going to be equality. W equality. Okay, simplify the number of crystal shards used to create various pieces of equipment so that you're not reliant on remembering odd numbers or over-reliant on a plugin to keep track. Got it. I plug-in scaped the crap out of this place, so... creating a tier 1 weapon, no shards down from 20. You'll still need a frame. All right, perfect. You need less shards. Okay, 10 shards off tier 2. Tier 1 armor is down 10. Tier 2 armor is down 20. Tier 3 armor is going up. Oh. The cost of tier 3 is going up. But it's going to be faster to farm the shards. Wait. Oh, all the armor's going up. I read this backwards. Dyslexia. W dyslexia. All right. Tier 1 armor requires 50 shards up from 40. Okay. My bad. Guys, all the armor's going up. Okay, all of the armor is going to cost more now, but you're going to get shards faster. And the stuff is going to be stackable. The reason for this increase is we don't want tier 3 to become a guarantee must-have every run, and you should still be trading comfort for time loss, encouraging people to push themselves down to tier 1 for fastest clears. Right, I get that. That's great. A full set of tier 1 armor and tier 3 weapons requires 250 shards, down from 280. Wait, a full set is cheaper. And then tier 3 is more expensive. Tier 2 is 10 crystal shards cheaper. Okay, so we're talking about... Okay, so the armor costs more, but the weapons cost less. This is a good change. I like this. This will allow you to farm your weapon quicker, and then you can farm shards faster once you have your weapon. So it should be all about... Like the new... Like, No Monkey's got to make a new CG guide now. Because he's going to have to be like, yeah, you're going to kill this one, go right here, get a weapon, then go right back, and then you're going to get 20 more shards, boom, then you're going to upgrade it. Yeah, so like the whole route is going to change now. And this is good, but it should be faster. It should be faster to get your prep done and your armor. And then I wonder like what how much time this takes off the average CG run with these changes. If it takes off like a minute or 2 minutes from the prep, I mean, this is massive over the course of however, like 400 runs on average that most people have to do. So this is really good. This is exactly what I was hoping that they would do for CG, is make the prep faster. Prevent weapon frames from dropping if you have a total of 3 weapon frames. Amazing. There was no need for them to drop after that. These changes should make prep feel more reliable, make the quantities of things required easier to remember, and probably speed things up for players of all skill levels so that you can spend more time focusing on Hunlet fight. Yeah, this is great. This is fantastic. W changes to Corrupted Gauntlet today. While Gauntlet's the headline for this section, we've got some more miscellaneous changes to a variety of NPCs and content too. Guys, let's go do a corrupted Gauntlet. Is this in the game right now? Dude, this gets me fired up to do a Gauntlet to go see the changes. Oh, okay. Or well, whenever they do it, we'll go and do it. Add a minimum number of player attacks before the Phantom Muspa can change styles. Oh, cool. So if you're doing big damage, if you're doing like big damage on Phantom Muspa, he's like changing styles really fast. Same thing with Demonic Gorillas. Oh, wait. Add a minimum number of attacks to Demonic Gorillas. That's a 3-clapper. Guys, that's a 3-clapper. If you know, you know. You can't be doing 4 or 5-way swaps on every single attack because sometimes, like, it's just too many swaps. Am I right, guys? Guys, that Demonic Gorilla change is so good. If you know, you know. Add a cooldown before Skotizo Totem can spawn again after being destroyed. Okay. Lower the duration of Phantom Muspa's homing spikes. Thank you. That thing follows you forever for no reason and ruins your vibes. All right, good change to Muspa. Reduce the size of Skotizo's arena. Nice. Yo, another good change. The arena was too big. You had to do too much running around. Yo, Wash, thank you very much for the sub. W changes, man. Remove the restriction on low steel effects against Wardens of Eladinis or Tumikins, meaning the Blood Fury and Sanguine staff would be able to function here. Okay, life stealing will work on Wardens and TOA now. Reduce Chivalry drain so that it matches Deadeye and Mystic Vigor. Wow, was Chivalry draining more prayer than the other mid-tier prayers? That didn't make any sense, huh? I don't know because I pretty much skipped Chivalry and went straight to Piety. There's no follow-up sentence. Okay. Prevent the Surge Potion's cooldown from being reset on death inside of Chambers of Xeric since it introduces a feels bad meta for speedrunners. Okay, that's cool. I never experienced that, but I could see how it would be annoying where you would want to die to get your Surge Pot back because somebody was abusing the death reset. And then now you have to do it because they are abusing that. That would be annoying if I was a speedrunner. So all right, that's a cool one for speedrunners. I didn't know that was happening. Prevent progress in the night waves from being reset if you leave via the door. Okay. Before signing off this section, we'd like to share our thoughts on a topic we can see crop up very often that some of you may feel is noticeably absent from this year's changes. Our thoughts on challenge mode, Chambers of Xeric, and prayer scrolls. Oh, guys, I'm getting a Dex. Let's see. For many of you, this is a topic that needs no introduction, but we'll set the scene to make sure everybody's up to speed here. Cox's unique table is weighted heavily towards the arcane and dex scrolls. That means roughly 58% of the uniques that you see on average will be a prayer scroll. Challenge mode Chambers of Xeric completions add the Twisted Ancestral Kit and Dust to tertiary loot, but don't make any adjustments to the ordinary loot table, meaning 58% of the uniques you see in CM completions will also be prayer scrolls. Okay. Are they changing that? By contrast, Tob hard mode does make adjustments to the loot table such that the Avernic Defender Hill has its weighting reduced by 7.7%. Okay, so listen. In Tob, if you do a hard mode, you have less chance of getting Avernic. That does not happen in Cox, which makes me believe that they're going to be changing that here, which makes all of the other uniques more common. The chance at seeing a unique chest in a hard mode Theater of Blood completion is also higher on its own to compensate for the longer completion time, which is mostly mirrored in the increased points per raid offered by challenge mode Chambers of Xeric completion. The high weighting of prayer scrolls applying to CM Cox has been a frequent topic of discussion for some time now, with many players suggesting we should reduce the weighting or remove these scrolls entirely from the challenge mode Cox loot table. Ooh, okay. In line with how hard mode Tob handles the Avernic. This suggestion is simple enough and absolutely has some merit, but we've been hesitant to make a simple change here since we think the problem is a little more complicated, so we'd like to talk through it with you and propose a little something out of the box. Okay? Let's hear it. Let's hear the pitch. We'll go through some of these simpler approaches we've seen in the past with some brief points on each first. Approach 1. Reduce prayer scroll weighting slightly and do nothing else. Very similar to Tob. Maybe a 7% reduction or something like that, just like Tob. Most closely mirrors Tob, puts a downward pressure on every unique on the loot table. Maintenance supply is increased and value will drop. So if they do this, value will slightly drop from the other items because it makes them a little bit less rare. Prayer scroll weighting is so high that you'd still see them very frequently unless we reduce the weighting drastically, which would result in a very significant increase for other uniques. Okay? Some items can't really absorb this downward pressure and still maintain a healthy value. The Twisted Buckler, the Dens, also the Dragon Hunter crossbow bow and claws to a lesser extent. Okay, so this is approach 1, is they lower the weight of prayer scrolls in CMs by like 7%-ish. That's how they do it in Tob. Okay, that's number 1, guys. And then we're gonna pull this at the end. So listen up. That's number 1. They lower it by 7%. Number 2, reduce prayer scroll weighting and reduce purple chance. What does this mean? All of the above still applies here too. Many players feel as though purple chests at Cox are too infrequent as is. Making them more infrequent would feel bad. I don't understand what this means. Hold on a second. What does number 2 mean, guys? Somebody explain this to me. Reduce the prayer scroll weighting. Number 2 says reduce purple chance overall, similar to what they did in TOA. Less prayer scrolls, but less purples, period. Why would anybody want that? It's option number 1 and reduce the purple chance. Oh! It's so they can it's so they can compensate by raising the price of the items whenever there's a... Okay. If you make the items more rare, they go up in price on the auction house. So they want to give you less purples and make the items worth more value. No one in their right mind would vote for this. Nobody would want number 2, in my personal opinion. Okay. Number 3, increase the purple chance. Puts downward pressure on everything. Still results in seeing more prayer scrolls. Purples are more frequently seen, which makes the raid feel better for many players. Guys, we're going to do a poll right now. What changed for Cox? Reduce prayer scrolls. Drop rate for reduce prayer scrolls and CM. Reduce scrolls and CM. Reduce all purples. Increase all purples. Oh, you know what I think they should do? Bro, you haven't seen the best one yet? Okay, hold on. Okay. Let me keep reading for a second. There's a 4th. Unique prices are delicate, and Cox uniques have historically done a pretty good job at maintaining value considering the raid's lifespan. So we're quite cautious about any solution that might result in a drastic increase in these. Instead, we'd like to float an idea that tackles the problem from a slightly different angle. What if the scrolls themselves had some sort of added value to apply upward pressure? Here's what we've been toying with. What if you could reroll a unique? Hypothetical scenario. A player gets an arcane prayer scroll. Oh my God. You can gamble your arcane prayer scrolls. Reroll provides, guys, I already put all these in the death coffer. Reroll provides a 1 in X chance to roll on the unique table again. But with it, the arcane prayer scroll is removed from the table, increasing all other unique weightings. If the 1 in X chance is missed, the arcane prayer scroll is deleted. It's only reroll inside the chest. This is so sick. Guys, okay, reroll scrolls. Okay, so that would be the fourth option. Effectively, this creates upward pressure on every item whose value is less than the average reroll value, meaning meaning items like prayer scrolls, dens, buckler likely increase in value. There's some downwards pressure created on other uniques, but not such to a degree that is likely to be overly detrimental. This means that mains could effectively try their luck at getting something better. Damn, but you're risking like 7 mil. Like, isn't a prayer scroll like 7 mil? So you're literally doing like a 7 mil gamble to try and get something that maybe is worth slightly more. Irons who have a healthy death coffer could reroll any duplicate items. Cloggers could reroll absolutely everything. And it's a change that could, in theory, apply to both Cians and normal cocks if we wanted. Brother, I love this idea to be able to reroll dupes, but you lose the item. I freaking love this idea. I'm like, dude, let's just send this idea on every dupe. This is so good. I love this. Okay, the additional benefit of an approach like this can justify being more generous with this system with simpler buff changes since there's a trade-off involved. From a system design perspective, there's something like this achieves a lot, but it's understandably a bit weird, and we know this sacrifice style can be very hit or miss for players. We'd like to gauge your thoughts on an outlandish idea to see how it stacks up against the approach. Damn. I like this. I like this a lot. Guys, what changed for Cox? Okay, let me explain this to you. Change number 1, they want to reduce the scrolls in CM only, giving you a higher chance to receive other items. Number 2, they reduce all the purple chances, causing the price of the items to go up on the Grand Exchange. Increase all purples, which would cause all of the items to go down on the Grand Exchange. Or they allow you to re-roll prayer scrolls for a chance at a different item, but you lose the scroll if you do this. Which change would you guys like to see into the Chambers of Xeric? I am curious at which change you guys like the best here. Myself, I like 1. I like 1 a lot. And I like 4 a lot. And I really, really like the idea of re-rolling your dupes. They've been calling me Dupe Daco for a while now because of how many dupes I have. And I don't give a dang about the 200 or 400 mil that I got from the Avernate treads. If I could re-roll those at a chance at a cloth, I would do it. Because the cloth is worth more to me than that 200 mil. But I know that might be game breaking. But this is a start in a right direction for prayer scrolls and cocks. This could be a cool thing. And it looks like most people are in favor of 1 and 4. It doesn't guarantee a purple. Yeah, you could literally just lose it. You could literally just lose your prayer scroll. I think Arcane Scroll is worth like 8 mil or something. So you just lose. It's like an 8 mil roll or something like that. How much? Let me see how much the cost is. Arcane Prayer Scroll. Being able to reroll these. Okay. Arcane Prayer Scroll is currently a 5.5 million coin. And so let me explain what this would do, guys. I'm not the smartest person, but this is what I think it would do. When you destroy your Arcane Prayer Scroll, you've now taken one off the market, which causes the price of the Arcane Prayer Scrolls to go up. Whenever you get an Arcane Prayer Scroll, you're no longer as sad because you have a chance. You can either make the 5 or 6 mil, or you can destroy it for a chance at getting an item that you want, which gives you another chance or another hope for a purple. It's kind of like getting a forgotten lockbox from Yama. It's like, it's not a piece of oath plate, but it might be. You know what I mean? And so it gives you that forgotten lockbox feel whenever you get an Arcane Prayer Scroll. You can reroll any unique. It's not scrolls only. Is it any unique? Did they say you would allow you to reroll any unique? If you can reroll any weapon, mod confirmed on Discord. So I can reroll my T-bow. Because I don't need it. Oh my God. Allowing you to reroll items destroys items, which causes the price in the market to go up. So that you can get a chance of rolling on an item that you actually want. Wait, this is great. Guys, this is great. This solves everything. This changes everything. We're going to have to... Guys, this changes everything. Okay. Oh my God, this is so good. Guys, please make this a thing. Re-rolling any item. Any unique. It's not just prayer scrolls. This creates upward pressure on every item whose value is less than the average reroll value. Prayer scrolls, bulwark, and twisted buckler would increase in value because people would be re-rolling these. Because this is so good. I love this. Guys, anybody saying this is a trash concept? 60% of people voted for this. This is the concept that most people are wanting that are in my stream, which totally is a representation of the entire RuneScape base as a whole. And everybody knows that, and there's no contest. I don't want to hear it. Gear changes and rebalancing. It's time to open up that Grand Exchange interface and prepare to panic buy or panic sell. Okay? Yo, someone subbed. Hold on. Guys, you got to thank your subs. Okay, hold on. Who was that? Borden, thank you for the prime. All right, 60% said re-rolling's prayer scrolls, and it's actually re-roll anything. Jokes aside, we tend to use this time to assess the position of existing gear in the game that might be underperforming or overperforming, then make small changes here or there to position gear more effectively in order to... So older content remains more relevant and we're not damaging how future-proof progression is with some overperforming drastically. There are only minor tweaks in most instances, so we'll keep things quick. Sanguinesti staff tweaks. Okay, Sanguinesti getting buffed. Chance to heal increased to 1 in 5. 8 damage extra when it procs. Plus 1.6 damage per hit. Base max hit increased by 1. Charge cost reduced. Guys, Tob is back. Tob is back. The Sanguinesti is good now. Unbelievable. Sanguinesti getting some love. Soul Reaper axe changes. Strength bonus buffed. Dude, oh. Stacks to provide 10 damage per stack. Soul Reaper axe buffed. Soul Reaper axe is back, guys. Sanguinesti and Soul Reaper axe are back. Blade of Salador slash accuracy increased by +6. Strength bonus increase. Dude, Salador buffed. Garazi Rapier buffed. Oh my goodness. And the Soul Reaper axe, this equates to the same damage increase, but with faster ramp-up time and less HP loss to achieve maximum stacks. Stack cap at 3. Oh my goodness. The Soul Reaper axe is giga buffed. Okay. Master Wands gain 10% magic damage bonus. Peg Asians +1 range strength. Yo. Are they increasing how fast I can get the Ranger boots? Or like what's going on here? Because like I'm 100 medium clues in. The Ranger boots are avoiding me. Ancient Scepters, all variants have their magic damage bonus increased to 10% up from 5%. Ancient Scepters is now 10%. Dang. Aquanite Hopper to have its second hit accuracy penalty halved. There's not much room to buff this. Loads of power creeping with the Twisted Buckler, but a small buff should make it at least a little more worthwhile. Bell's Folly drop rate increased to 1 in 75. Goodness gracious. That's a massive buff on the Bell's Folly. Venator bow to made more consistent thanks to new engine capabilities. It's hard to quantify this, but in effect, it should mean that the bow finds new targets more reliably. Okay, Venator bow is going to be more reliable now on hitting extra targets. Inquisitor changes. Remove the Inquisitor's set bonus. This allows all pieces and the mace to function better independently rather than locking their utility to completing the set. WRIZ. Inquisitor's mace gains +5 strength and +7 crush. Damn. Gordon's mace just got instantly better. This guarantees +1 max hit in all setups and +2 max hits in some setups. Inquisitor's Great Helm gains +2 accuracy. Okay, so they just distributed the set bonus amongst each individual piece. This matches the equivalent slash bonus and strength granted by the Oathplate Helm. The Halberd gains +4 crush accuracy, putting its crush bonus at 16, up from 12. This matches the equivalent slash bonus guaranteed by the Oathplate chest. Now, because they've done this, I'm imagining in Raids 4, if Raids 4 is crush week, that you'd probably rock maybe like 1 or 2 pieces of Torva and then 1 piece of crush accuracy. Similar to, or like 2 pieces of crush with the Torva helm or something. Because they did this. It's going to be similar to like Tob with 2-piece Oathplate, 1-piece Torva. Or maybe they go Inquisitor's Helm plus 2-piece Torva. You know what I mean? So it's going to be like a Tob thing. Burning Claws, Shaman Mask bonus increased from +2 from -6. I don't know what a Shaman Mask is. Okay, so Inquisitor's gear has been distributed across the entire set, which is great because it allows for more customizing your gear and moving it around to accommodate like whatever you're trying to do. That should be good for Raids 4, I think. Burning Claw's special attack energy cost increased to 35% from 30%. These are incredibly energy efficient and often out-compete special attack options obtained from considerably harder content. Okay. They make it really difficult for us to fill additional special attack weapon space and drastically overperform considering their unlock source, since we wouldn't consider them to be an in-game unlock as opposed to a stepping stone on your way to other things like Dragon Claws or Void Waker. Okay, so BCs have been nerfed. Burning Claws are nerfed now. I think Burning Claws were way too good. I should almost never use Burning Claws over my Void Waker, in my personal opinion, unless it's a demon. I think that they were too good. This is a great change. Like I'm using Burning Claws on freaking Vardorvis. Like why are they bis on Vardorvis? I couldn't tell you. I feel like Void Waker should be better. We have 2 other items in this category that overperform considerably in PvP scenarios. There's a tough line to walk when it comes to keeping item behavior consistent across the entire game, but we're not convinced that players using these items would appreciate seeing them weakened across the board solely to bring them into a healthier spot for PvP. Our current proposals are listed below, so you can let us know what you reckon. If you prefer to see consistently applied, then we have alternate suggestions, but these would weaken the position of affected gear across the entire game. Let's take a look. In PvP, the Eclipse Ladle made to attack 1 tick slower unless full moon eclipse is worn. Okay, so I see a lot of PvPers using the Eclipse Ladle in wrist fighting and stuff. The Ladle's 3-tick weapon speed, coupled with not needing any considerable range switch, makes it an absolute monster for its price point, while homogenizing gear setups significantly in multiple styles of PvP combat. So basically what this would do is it would make you do a full Eclipse Ladle swap if you wanted the 3-tick speed. Okay? In PvP, Soul Flame's Horn special attack adjusted to provide 50% accuracy rather than 100%. The Soul Flame Horn makes it a one-iteming with weapons like the Ancient Mace exceptionally strong and doesn't confer any meaningful risk to a group utilizing this strategy. This would still make it a powerful option, but slightly less reliable than its current one-shotting enabling status. Notice that this item already behaves differently in PvP. We're just adjusting that PvP-specific behavior to make it a little less overpowered. I guess people are using Soul Flame to guarantee a 100% shot with an Ancient Mace, and I'm unfamiliar with what that does. But this sounds like it's a bit too strong in PvP, and they're just drawing some light to it. So this would smite. This is guarantee. Okay, this guarantees a smite. Ancient Mace would drain your prayer. Okay, so this is a guaranteed smite tactic for group PvP for multi. So if me and one person are out there, he hits me with the horn, I can guaranteed smite somebody now with the Ancient Mace. Okay, I get it. Yeah, I mean, that seems like it would be a bit strong. I'm curious to see what people who have actually tested that would say, because I don't really have an opinion on it. But I mean, if Jagex is bringing it up, then it's probably too strong. Rosewood Blowpipe made able to use darts up to rune instead of its current cap at adamant to compensate the 10% bonus damage on its double shot rapid burst special attack would be removed. Okay. I have never used a Rosewood Blowpipe, but if they remove the rapid burst special attack and they allow you to use rune darts, that's what they're thinking about doing there. No opinions on that one. I went straight to the toxic blowpipe. Early game Slayer has made a whole host of monsters who no longer have interesting loot. We like to bolster some loot tables with gear that helps players start climbing the gear ladder for magic and range. This is great. While they're still in those earlier stages of progression, new magic amulets. We'd like to add a handful of elemental jewels as drops from NPCs that can be combined with the retrospective runes and amulet of magic to create a variety of amulets that shine with elemental spells. Each of these elemental amulets +2 to its elemental max hit alongside 10 magic accuracy. Cool. Guys, you know, early game, there's like, you just use strength amulet and you don't use anything else. This would give you some early game strength buff and give you a reason to go after some crafting and get some amulets. So Amulet of Air, made using an air diamond, which drops from killer watts. Cool, killer watts, like literally, I mean, you had no reason to do them. I usually block them. Amulet of Water from a sapphire made from sea snakes hatchlings. Okay, Earth would be from mollusks. Amulet of Fire would be dropped from infernal mages. And then having each one of these amulets, you know, if you're using fire spells or air spells, then you can get a slightly higher max hit early game. This gives you a bit of an introduction to plus strength gear for mage, for mage and maybe range. They have an equivalent for range out there maybe. But you know, in early game, guys, there's almost no strength gear except for melee. So there's hardly any plus magic strength gear and hardly any plus range strength gear in early game. So this would give you an introduction to plus strength gear for specific types of casting, which is pretty cool. I like this. Crafting each of these amulets will have a runecraft requirement, likely in the 18 to 22 range, but players with 30 runecraft can combine all of these to create an elemental amulet, which provides +2 to the max hit of all spells alongside the +10 magic accuracy. Cool. So I'm guessing if you make every single one of these runes, you can combine them. Or if you make every single one of these amulets, then you could combine them, giving you a elemental necklace, which gives you plus strength for everything. That is dope. When it comes to ranged jewelry, there's not really anything even remotely worthwhile for the range-specific bonuses until you obtain the Necklace of Anguish, which you don't get until you're like 75 days played. While our proposal here isn't a game changer, it's at least a nice unlock for players working their way through Slayer. Necklace of Fangs. It drops from Turoths at a rate of 1 in 128. Provides +1 range strength and +12 range accuracy. Cool. So a mini Anguish necklace can now drop from Turoths. Turoths is a task that I normally skip, so this would give you a reason to do those. I think introducing early game range strength and early game mage strength is a great idea, and it introduces you to the late game it like eases you into it a bit easier than, because you're just looking for accuracy in the early game, but actually getting some plus strength could feel pretty good. This is great. Rounding off the proposals, we're committed. Okay, so rounding off the proposals we're committed to are a few similar things with no particular rhyme or reason, and the kinds of things you might see scattered through regular quality of life polls during the year, but perhaps a little more involved on technical or balancing side. Changes to abyssal creatures. Increase rune essence pouch drop rate from abyssal guardians to 1 in 8, up from 1 in 42. Okay. Increase the rate from abyssal walkers, 1 in 5. Nobody kills these mobs because they'd rather just blast out tiny leeches. This should speed up obtaining these pouches, since grabbing them isn't exactly challenging, but can feel needlessly time-consuming for an item that's effectively mandatory for runecraft training. We're also bringing down their defenses so they fall over a little more easily. Lower light and heavy range defense for abyssal guardians and abyssal walkers to 0, down to 70 and 75. Okay, so they're lowering the light and heavy range defense for abyssal guardians and abyssal walkers, and then they're lowering the crush defense to 0. Early game run improvements. Wait a second. Fully restore run energy and cure any damage over time effects like poison upon completing a quest. Yo! There we go. Add 1 to 3 dose energy potions to a variety of early game loot tables. Everybody hates walking. That's the one thing every RuneScape player can agree on. Nobody likes to walk. Buff energy potions to restore 15% energy per dose. Love that. Adjust the herblore recipe for energy potions so they're made from unfinished Guam. That's a double clap. Adjust their herblore requirement level down to 10. Guys, we're getting run potions on the early game. And subsequently adjust the XP obtained from making them 45 down from 67. This allows other early game use for Guam leaves that might prove useful for herblore training, while also having increased utility in the early game thanks to the buff listed above. Guys, what a great change, Jagex. What a great change to the early game run speed. Love that, man. Now you can focus herblore. Maybe a lot of early game stuff will just give you a bunch more Guams, and you can make way more run speeds earlier on. This is great. Add a create last option select turns and used to create teleport tablets. Yes. The favorites list to the fairy ring was one of the greatest changes ever, by the way. If they have more favorites lists like the fairy ring for other crafting and travel methods, that would be fantastic. Make Gommel's Lucky Penny charge saving effect and account unlock for completing master tier combat achievements rather than requiring the item to be worn. Gommel's Lucky Penny charge saving effect. Wow. The charge saver. Gnome is going to be happy. If you complete master combat achievements, you get something called a Lucky Penny charge saver. I'm guessing that this applies to anything in the game that has a charge on it, where you have a chance not to burn a charge, like a scythe. Is that correct? 5% chance of saving a charge on your scythe. All right. So if you complete master tier combat achievements, you no longer have to wear it. Now you have 5% chance to save a charge. Gnome getting what he wants in the patch notes. Damn. Allow the Seed Vault to respect locked inventory slots. Remove the timeout cooldown on making parties at the Theater of Blood. Remove timeout cooldown on entering the fight caves too many times. Allow pets to follow you into the content like Gauntlet, Fossil Islands, Underwater Area, and various minigames. Dude, Joker got his change. Guys, do you guys remember Joker complaining that he couldn't take his pet underwater and he got it from underwater? And he was like, man, I can't even take my pet because it's just a freaking hindrance because I can't take it with me underwater to do my run. So now he just leaves it in the bank all the time. I was complaining about that too. I was complaining about this too because I was like, why the hell would I ever have a pet out when I'm doing seaweed runs? The damn thing can't go underwater. It just literally, it's -1 inventory slot perma. It made no sense to ever have a pet out. Do they get a little dive helmet too? That would be sick. Imagine your pet gets like a dive helmet when you go underwater. Birdhouses. Okay. Since their addition of alongside Fossil Island in 2017, birdhouses have absolutely eclipsed the hunter skill, while the addition of hunter rumors went some way to dethroning them. Birdhouses account for a huge chunk of all hunter XP gained, dominating many level brackets and stages of progression. The huge gray space in the middle represents how much XP is gained from birdhouses at various hunter levels. From around level 30 onwards, it accounts for 80% of all hunter XP until Herbivore makes its entrance at level 80. Early levels look a bit skewed as players skipping levels with things like quest rewards or the Varrock Museum quiz. Okay. So butterfly nets are pretty popular. And this is all birdhouses in this graph. Who is doing birdhouse runs at 80? Unbelievable. You never stop doing birdhouse runs? Oh my God. Okay, so bird snares for like the first 10 levels, and then it's all birdhouses. Tracking, and then it's tracking. Dude, tracking is biz at level 80? Wow. Or that's Herbivore. Oh, that's Irby at 80. Okay, tracking equals Irby. I've never done Irby. It's not inherently a problem for one method to stand out above all others, but birdhouses strip the skill of its unique identity and result a gameplay loop that closely resembles farming, effectively reducing all early game methods to the dreaded dead content pile. The hunter improvements we outlined earlier in the blog are not contingent on what we're suggesting here. We'll be rolling them out regardless, and that should result in considerable improvements to early game hunter leveling. There's no sandwich here of, we'll buff these things if we're allowed to nerf this other thing. Having that said, repositioning birdhouses designed slightly might be necessary to make conventional hunter training actually appealing. Perhaps this isn't an issue for most of you, but we think cutting back on chores elements that feel mandatory and instead more strongly positioning activities you can do whenever you feel like is generally a net positive. I mean, it's widely known that like birdhouses is just like what you do. You don't really, you maybe do birdhouse and then a bit of hunter rumors until you unlock 75 hunter for the moths, but everybody just does birdhouses. So what are they going to do to change that? In short, we'd like to try something along the following lines. Increase the nest output by 50% and make them more consistent, so that you're not getting a couple on one run and filling your inventory the next. Reduce the XP offered for checking them with a big reduction at the lower end and a small reduction at the top end. So they're going to nerf the XP from hunter runs, but increase the nest that you get from them, from birdhouse runs. 50% more nest, but lower XP. I think that's okay. Rothgard, thank you for that sub. Have to throw a sub to the most consistent OSRS streamer. Just a normal guy achieving at high levels. The most normal, standard, average guy giving us all hope and achieving great stuff. Thank you, my goated standard streamer in Super Smash Bros. You would be Mario. Thank you for calling me normal and average as many times as you possibly could in that sentence. I really, really appreciate that. You are awesome. And thank you very much for the sub. I appreciate that. Let us know what you reckon. We're confident that this would position birdhouses more appropriately with hunter progression, but we appreciate that they've been around for a long time now, and they're bound to be a considerably diversity of opinion here, which is why we're not absolutely committing ourselves to anything at this stage. Rounding us off is our final potential change. Oh, Nightmare. Put your hands together for the unofficial mascot of the Summer Sweep Up. You know her. You love her. The Nightmare of Ashahama. Okay. That was a bit over the top, but I went with it. +1 RP. Note, the changes we discussed in this segment are intended as long-term and would rely on the future content. These aren't changes that we're planning to make alongside the other things we've outlined so far. Okay, it wouldn't be a summer sweep up without the Nightmare making an appearance, and from a game design perspective, the boss certainly lives up to its name. Over the years, we've taken numerous passes at the Nightmare, including Fasani's Nightmare, aiming to make the encounter feel more worth engaging with. Since Fasani's Nightmare in particular stands out as one of the most solid solo encounters in old school, we still have some issues here which we think might require radical solutions rather than just a couple more tweaks. So let's outline our issues. Some of these focus specifically on Inquisitor, which we've covered in the gear rebalancing section above to keep things organized. Love the Inquisitor change, by the way. The Nightmare's loot table feels bloated. There are 4 pieces of Inquisitor, the Nightmare's staff, and the 3 separate orbs to put into the staff. Each unique reward can make it feel frustrating to chase a couple of specific items, especially when a decent number of these rewards, like orbs, are relatively niche. Some bosses have very little function or appeal for players at any stage in the game and could be revitalized with a lot more interesting loot. Inquisitor doesn't feel like a worthwhile unlock, and relying on a full set limits the Inquisitor's mace potential to being a solid main hand weapon. This is why we're making the adjustments outlined earlier in the blog. W change. Once again, I'll say it. Regardless of how we address the first 2 points, improvements in the Inquisitor armor set and mace aren't dependent on the changes we'd like to explore in this segment. Cool. We'd like to position Nightmare more strongly as the place that you go get Inquisitor rather than the place that you might get an Inquisitor from eventually. And a bunch of orbs that you don't care about. Okay, that was spot on. Jagex knows what's going on. Move the Volatile and Eldritch orbs off the Nightmare loot table. Oh, shit. It might be a stronger thematic here that the Nightmare drop is a generic orb, and have it be charged with some unique essence that drops from other NPCs, rather than bosses all over Gielinor stumbling across these tiny spheres. Let the homogenized Nightmare orb the weighing of other orbs. Let it absorb the weighting of the other orbs. Okay. Let the homogenized orb absorb the weighting of the other orbs. That was a bar right there. At Fasani's Nightmare, this would mean a drop rate of around 1 in 533, up from 1 in 1600. Damn. That is a massive increase. Increase the weighting of the Nightmare staff from 3 to 4, so you're more likely to obtain one by the time you obtain an orb. Increase the generic chance of hitting the Inquisitor's Nightmare staff loot table by 10% to compensate for the staff's increased weighting. This would mean more Inquisitor, more focus loot, and potentially more reasons to check out other bosses, if we deem them to be appropriate sources of the other 2 Nightmare orbs. How about an orb from Tob? Maybe that might be bad. That might be bad for chances at Scythe. I don't know. We'll let that one cook. Be sure to let us know if we think we're barking up the wrong tree here, or if you think this is a solid direction to go in. If this does seem like something you're on board with, then we'll keep these orbs in mind with any future content releases and pull moving these orbs over on a case-by-case basis. This means that once both orbs mentioned are shifted, we'll be able to revisit the specific changes to the nightmare itself. And with that, we're at our end of our initial proposal. We welcome all of your thoughts, feedback, discussion, and we'll be keeping a close eye on suggestions for things we might have missed that fall within our scope. Depending on how conversations plan out around topics like birdhouses or other nightmares, you might want to keep an eye out for the follow-up blogs and in our in-game opinion surveys to make sure that we're on the right track. Is all this stuff up for vote? Like, where do we vote? Do we vote on this stuff now? Yo, Glowy, thank you for the 12-monther, Glowy. Thank you. Let's see here. These are already in the game? I don't think they're in the game yet, guys. They're going to gauge opinion first. I am fully on board for this new nightmare change. And the Inquisitor change is great too. Because nobody uses Inquisitor armor. It's been kind of just like that. It's like that, just like that odd armor set out that nobody really uses. As far as the harmonized nightmare orb and the nightmare, I never really used this staff. And it's like isn't it like a level 1 pure bis? Or level 1, like a 1 defense pure bis? Part of Inquisitor's problem is it's 30 defense required. It's 15% the same as Kodai. And it has no defensive requirement, right? Game Otter, thank you for the prime. Harmonized Staff lets you cast normal spells 1 tick faster. Okay, cool. Okay. Guys, overall, you thinking W on this blog? What are we thinking? Birdhouse change. I mean, I'm okay with every change on this blog. I think it was really good. I mean, this sweep up was solid. I'm gonna give the best things in this sweep up. The agility change. I would say the agility change was A tier. I would say the corrupted gauntlets changes were S tier. The prayer scroll, if this goes through, this would be an S tier change to the game. Being able to reroll dupes. This makes the cost of the items go up on the Grand Exchange. And for players that want to risk their dupes that don't care about gold, they can have another chance at an item that they want. This would be an S tier change if they do that. The other really good changes. Sanguine SD buffs needed to be buffed. Nobody uses that anymore. Soul Reaper Axe, pretty good item, and I think it's going to be really good. And then Blade of Seldor was buffed as well. I mean, all these mini changes. There were so many good mini changes here. I love the early game. I love the early game plus range strength and plus mage strength necklaces to give you something to go for early game to give you some plus strength. Because the only thing you can currently get plus strength on is melee, and it's just like everyone just camps strength necklace. And it doesn't teach you swapping in the game early enough. This is going to teach you bringing gear swaps maybe earlier, having more items. The run energy for early game, S tier change. That was huge. Birdhouses, I mean, I don't much care about this, but if it's going to be, better for the game and get people doing other things besides birdhouses, if they nerf birdhouse XP, but they buff it in other places, maybe it's not so bad. And then the nightmare change could potentially be S tier. I think that the Inquisitor changes were also S tier. And the master combat achievements for the 5% S tier change. Master, that gives me a reason to push for master combat changes now. so that I don't lose charges on my dishonest quiver. I would say every change on here was like easily A tier or S tier changes. There weren't really many changes. What I like, I mean, maybe the birdhouse is like the birdhouse thing is maybe like a B tier change. I don't know. I don't really care too much about it. And like some people disagree with the dry protection on the fishing barrel and the abyssal needle. I know some people are like a little bit on the fence about dry protection for items in the game. I don't much care about that. But if you're dry, I'm sure that's an S tier change for you. So if you're dry on fishing barrel or abyssal needle, you'll be able to buy that from the shop now. And you won't have to go dry on those items anymore. This might be a crazy take. You guys might not like this. Oh, you need an invite? I got you, Bob. Come to the Sears. Come to the Sears. Come to the Sears on 446. I'll get you in. Overall, this blog, this summer sweep up was a banger. I can't wait to see what goes through on these nightmare changes. And with these changes, it is sounding like Raids 4 is going to be like nightmare loot is probably going to be Biss, right? I mean, with these kind of changes, Crush, we don't have a Crush raid right now. Crush is kind of underrepresented in the game. I mean, this just seems like you'd use a mixture of Torva and Inquisitor in Raids 4. How much will the Abyssal Needle be? Didn't they say it was? Oh, it was 6,000 speckle flakes. What are they called? The flakes, spirit flakes. 6,000 spirit flakes for the barrel, and 750 pearls for the needle. 750 pearls for the needle. Right here. 6K flakes for the barrel right here. How dry do I need to be to bypass bow? You need to be 800 KC. Two times rate. 2 times rate. You actually don't have enough armor seeds. You need 6 armor seeds. Wait, Giga Chad. You gotta get 6 armor seeds. Yeah, but you're a GIM.